But we're gonna Van's gonna play another song for us, and this one is on the record we were just talking about. This is called "The Hard Way." Tell us about it.
Well, The Hard Way is a song that I couldn't have written until I had worked through what had happened to me.
Hmm.
The central verse on the song is about a near-death experience. I had a ruptured ectopic pregnancy. I didn't know I was pregnant. I had my three little girls, and I was nursing my third one, my baby, outside, and I started feeling this sharp pain and rushed inside. And I didn't know what was happening because I hadn't had any of the normal pregnancy symptoms.
Hmm.
Um, so I handed Jack the baby, went inside, and some time went by, and I started thinking I was miscarrying, called the hospital. They said, well, you can miscarry at home or you can come here. I had no idea that I was bleeding internally. I had
Hmm.
no idea that I was essentially bleeding out. I went to the doctor, and usually when your fallopian tube ruptures, you bleed out and you die.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
just what happens.
Yep.
Um, Went to the doctor, tested as still pregnant. They gave me another, and days kind of went by because I was still coherent, and they couldn't find a baby on an ultrasound, and there was just a lot of confusion, all because I was still awake and I was in a lot of pain. And the third day happens, and I go in for the blood test because that's how they uh, decide whether or not you've passed the fetal tissue or
Right.
not.
Right. Right.
My pregnancy hormones had like multiplied like crazy. I was swollen. They were like, "You have to go to the hospital right now.
Mm.
We think that your fallopian tube ruptured,
Mm.
and you've just presented so differently that nobody had any
So you're
idea."
lucky to be here.
Incredibly, they told me to say goodbye to my kids
Wow.
because we don't know what's going to happen. Emergency surgery, which saved my life. Um, I woke up from that, and you're stunned when something like that happens. I wasn't even afraid. I was just there. My husband was with me in the hospital room, and they come in and they talk to you and they say, uh, you probably won't have more kids.
Hmm.
Um, and we'll talk to you about, what that looks like later. You have basically half of your equipment is still here. The other half, we literally barely saved your life. I had lost 3 liters of blood in my
Wow.
body.
Wow.
Um, so that happened.
Hmm.
That's sort of the central crux of this song. This happened while I was also just in those early stages of feeling like I wasn't really living as myself. I had this beautiful family whom I love, and I love my children, but I hadn't been creating music or doing a lot of the things that made me who I am.
Hmm.
And that was in some way, I was like, what am I doing? And I remember looking at my husband before I went under for surgery. And I said, hey, I don't want it to end like this. I don't want our story to end like this. And I don't know what this means, any of it means, but I don't want this to be the end of anything, you know? So I get home and I heal. Took a long time. That was a lot of blood. I required several transfusions, obviously, but I lived through it. They
Hmm.
really didn't think I would. I mean, I still, every Easter is when that anniversary rolls around, and it's kind of amazing to think of what a resurrection can mean in a normal human life,
Yeah.
And that was a resurrection for me. Absolutely.
So, as a songwriter, a
Mhm.
creative being, it's so difficult
Mhm.
to put out the most personal of your
Right.
stories,
Right.
but you decided to.
I decided that I needed to write the song, and I didn't know if it was going to go on anything. I just wrote the song.
Hmm.
And, I wrote it on our back porch. This was, I can't remember off the top of my head what year it would have been that happened. Um, but this is, 7 years later, maybe. I finally was able to put the words down
Hmm.
in a way that was coherent,
Hmm.
but still very, very raw. And I couldn't even get through it the first time I tried to sing it.
Yeah.
on the back porch.
So yet of all the songs you do, all the songs you've written,
That's
the only song you did on this show that's not a new single.
I don't know why I did that. It just is I guess it's what we were supposed to talk about today.
That is so courageous.
Oh, thank you. Some things I do just by reflex, I think.
I understand. But it's so hard. You know, I talk to a lot of songwriters, and, you know, there's always those songs you keep for yourself that are just too powerful, too, you know, too personal, too raw.
I used to do that.
To share with other people.
Yeah.
I think all songwriters have those songs.
I used to do that.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to do that anymore. Like forever anymore. Because if it's close enough that it breaks me, then somebody out there really
I was going to
needs it.
say it's probably in hopes of healing somebody else.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's just something really cathartic about being honest. You know, we spend so much of our lives curating what people see, even, you know, not just on social media, but just in our life. You know, we try to control our image to a certain extent. And there's something really refreshing to me about being that real.
Yeah.
And it kind of can make you a little bit more fearless, because if I've already put it all out there, what's somebody else going to say?
You know, that says a lot about who you are too. And maybe you don't even realize this, but you were helped by so many people being mean to you. Right?
Yeah, it's true.
And then you are helping people by being sweet and vulnerable and raw, when really you have every justification to just shelter yourself and not help people.
Yeah.
Like, those people could have very easily just had you harboring, you know, these kinds of things and keeping them for yourself.
That's true.
That says a lot.
I think I tried that for a few years. And
I imagine it didn't help.
I just didn't feel alive.
Yeah.
You know? And, you know, the story didn't end there, because I don't have 3 children, do I?
Right.
I have 4.
That's right.
And 6 months after that happened, I started feeling real weird on Thanksgiving vacation. And I took a pregnancy test.
Wow.
And then I took 3 more pregnancy tests, because the doctors had said there's no way.
Wow.
And I was pregnant with our son.
Wow. Amazing.
So, yeah.
So let's play the song. It's called The Hard Way, y'all. Check it out.
Saw a sign the other day, says, say your praise and you'll be saved. I wonder who they're praying to. Forgiving the peace on earth, fill the palaces with dirt. I wonder if these roads are worth. They call it straight and narrow, my road's twisted up. My guitar is getting heavy as I go. I carry love in my right hand, left mine holding yours, my friend. The hard way, it's the only way I know. Couldn't follow what they said, my armor didn't hold. Cracks along the road, my skin was broken. Lost a baby in my bed, sheets were fading and bursting red. My heart, it kept on beating whole, but they said it would. They call it straight and narrow, my road's twisted up. My guitar is getting heavy as I go. I'll carry love in my right hand, my left one holding yours, my friend. The hard way, only way I know. I'll be captured fearlessness, I'll put away my pride. I've walked through every unlocked door in hopes I stay alive. They go this straight and narrow, but my road My guitar is getting heavy as I go. I'll carry that in my right and left one. Over yours, my friend. The highway is the only